How's it, South Africa? Welcome back to SA Political Lens. Today, we're unpacking one of the strangest twists in politics. Julius Malema defending a DA member in Parliament. Yo, you heard right. And to understand how wild this is, let's rewind. Remember, Julius was once General Mkhwanazi's biggest supporter. He praised him for exposing rot and demanded action. Don't take our word for it. Here's Julius praising Mkhwanazi.
Mkhwanazi is a hero. For a man to go outside the established protocols to do what he did was to put his body on the line. That's what a man does. Whether you agree with him or not, it doesn't matter. But he played a very, very important role in exposing the rot, and it is our turn now, as a country, not as politicians, to deal with this matter. The country must pay a closer attention. One, that Mkhwanazi doesn't get victimized. Mkhwanazi's contract is coming to an end in December. If anything, they must advertise that post now. And then he must reapply and get reappointed again so that he can finish this tax. Thugs, I don't mean those criminals. I mean these ones we sit with here in parliament. Our problem starts here. Yeah. Mkhwanazi must arrest from here. But if we allow this thing to go and Mkhwanazi's contract is finished, they're not going to appoint him. Because they all say, Mkhwanazi, praise him, Mkhwanazi. At the corners, they don't like the man. Or you, this one is going to lock us up, all of us here. If they love Mkhwanazi and they think he's playing an important role, advertise the position so that Mkhwanazi can apply while he's still there, because it's coming to an end. That thing takes 3 months or even more to get appointed into that responsibility. We are at a point where we cannot afford to lose Mkhwanazi. We are at a point where we cannot afford to lose Mkhwanazi. Somehow, he needs to be retained into the force. And somehow, he needs to be elevated to a national responsibility. Because KwaZulu-Natal has become too small for him. Western Cape needs Mkhwanazi to come and deal with these crimes that are supported by DA, funded DA by money of drugs and gangsterism. That's why they can't deal with it. You think this thing is going to eat the ANC alone? Even the DA is going to be shown in those things. Because we're not only looking for Sibiya or Masemola. Any rot of the police must come. Anyone with information must come. And those are the people we must protect.
And then, out of nowhere, Julius flipped the script. Suddenly, Mkhwanazi was the problem. Malema told the committee they won't be dictated to by him, as if Mkhwanazi was dodging accountability. Check this out.
I think we must make one point very clear. That we're not going to be told by Mkhwanazi what must happen, what must not happen. If we are looking for him, we have to find him. And if he's not going to make himself available, we're going to have to summon him. He's the one who started this mess. And he's going to have to take responsibility. He's not going to tell us about commission this, commission that, and all of that. We don't know what commission is doing. We're not interfering with the commission. And the commission must never interfere with us. So, Mkhwanazi must be summoned to this committee. This ad hoc committee, it's established because Mkhwanazi took his own time to say the things he said. And he's not going to tell us now that he's not available. The same way he was available to appear on TV with guns and everything else. That is the same way he's going to avail himself to this committee. He needs to be called, and the sooner we call him, the better. And if he's not responsive, you must summon him. because we must not create an impression that people can just play over us. If we start on this note, we're not going anywhere. That's what we're discussing in the terms of reference, that people must not have an impression that they can choose how they want to do things. You must know now, the commission has to start. He has set certain allegations which led to the establishment of this committee, and he has to appear before this committee. And we want our own sworn statement to our committee. It doesn't make any material difference.
Yo, John, it's like you went from #1 fan to don't call me, I'll call you in record time. And then came the bombshell. In the commission, Nhlanhla implicated DA member Diane Kohler-Barnard. That's huge because she sits on the very committee meant to deal with this. Here's the moment.
Ms. Kohler-Barnard is a long-serving member of parliament. Maybe you might, beg your pardon, Ms. Kohler-Barnard, maybe you might excuse to some degree, not that I agree with it, Mr. Adams, of being new in that parliament. But Ms. Kohler-Barnard is a veteran in parliament as a lawmaker who ought to understand what belongs where in parliament. And I can confirm, commissioners, that she is appointed by her own political party, which is a Democratic Alliance, to be a member of both the Portfolio Committee on Police that deals with the open account, as well as being a member of the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence, which deals with the covert farms. So she's better positioned to call the department to come in account at the right platform. But we have seen, and I said when I started, I'm going to throw one example of each. I'm not going to go into details with many. There are many examples. But she's one of the leaders in our legislature that is participating in both breaking the law as well as fueling these malicious attacks that are happening within crime intelligence, and ultimately directed at Khumalo as the head of that intelligence. I said she is a member of Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. So what I put here on as an example on page 61 under paragraph 186 is a statement that she released in her capacity as a member of the Democratic Alliance, which I'm going to quote these two paragraphs, commissioners, on record. The Democratic Alliance is calling for an immediate and thorough investigation into the recent purchase of a multi-million rand commercial property by the Crime Intelligence Division of the South African Police Service in Bria in Durban.
The EFF does not agree that the honorable member, Kohler-Barnard, must withdraw herself on the basis of being mentioned without any evidence being laid. That's number one. Number two, I don't even know why this matter finds itself on our table now. Because it can be that because our member was mentioned in the commission, he must recuse herself. And then when they come to our committee, our member doesn't get mentioned. And they even say perhaps on a hindsight we realize it was not necessary to mention him in a manner or her in a manner we did. There is no matter before you. So you can't reduce this committee to be a subcommittee of the commission. That everything else that is happening in the commission must happen in our committee. There is a commission for whatever reason. There is this other committee for whatever reason. So it can't be that a person just gets mentioned loosely and then we get overwhelmed. There's still a lot of people who are going there. And Honorable Brandenburg is correct. There's still a lot of people who are going there. We'll sponsor your name there. Your name, that the fact that she was not mentioned, she was mentioned in the press conference, and then the committee happened after the press conference. Therefore,
they don't want to exclude her. When a testimony was given, the committee was already there. So we're talking about her being mentioned while the committee was in existence to tell us about the press conference which happened before the testimony in the commission to dismiss an honorable member. It's wrong. Honorable Kola Barnett must take a conscious decision herself if she so feels that, you know what, in the meantime, let me take a back seat because I don't know where, that in her own conscience, I don't know where this thing will lead to. But for you to take a name of a member and put it on the table and discuss it the way you are discussing it, even when it is not put by anyone before you on the table, that your member is conflicted, and then here is an area of conflict. And none of us is speaking about a conflict because recusal must be on the basis of conflict. No one says, here is the conflict. No one can establish the conflict, but we are readily available to go to get the member. Even we have no evidence before us, even when our member is not mentioned before our committee, and even when we look at the issue, none of us is pointing at conflict of interest. So I'm very sorry, I'm not part of such a arrangement where rights of people get humiliated and violated the way we want to do it. It's wrong. I disagree, Chair.
Yeah, ne. Malema defending the DA is like Becky Taylor arriving on time. It just doesn't happen. So let's just pause here. Malema starts off as Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's biggest cheerleader, then he attacks him, and now he's shielding a DA member implicated by Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi himself. Yo, politics is a movie. And South Africa, it raises the big question. Why? Why defend a DA member when your whole brand is fighting the DA? Is it about Parliament's integrity or about protecting something or someone bigger? One thing's for sure, Julius Malema does not look comfortable with the truth that's starting to surface. And we can all feel it. Something big is coming, and we might not be ready.